This is the painstaking install of an MGB GT windshield chrome trim. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more old British car content from me. What is happening, MGB world? This is my 1969 MGB GT. I have that other video up that shows how I've been resurrecting it from a hit and run accident. Pretty much have resurrected it. The final steps have been to install this windshield chrome. We installed the windshield ourselves. It was a huge ordeal, but actually went better than I thought. We used the old rope it in method, which a lot of people have said wouldn't work, but I got it from a gentleman named McGregor who worked in the factory himself, that is the right method as long as you have a gasket that's the appropriate size. So the next step has been getting this trim in, and unfortunately you can kind of see doing the top, I damaged the trim a bit getting it, pushing it in. We couldn't figure out a great way to get it in, but I think I have a solution, and this is part of it. Let's see, Shin-Etsu silicone grease, which I had read up on and was actually giving advice to a friend who had leaking T-tops on a Nissan Z. I found this stuff and people swear by it. I think I want to say it's a Honda factory part also, but basically it's a grease that can get absorbed into the rubber, keep it nice and supple, and expand it, so it helps with stopping those types of leaks. And I'd been using soapy water in trying to do the trim here and lubricate the rubber, but I tried using this grease the other day because I bought some for myself thinking I'll use it for my door seals and other areas to keep out the water, and I redid this piece and used the grease to install it, and it went right in. It was so much easier. I don't know why I hadn't done that before. And the other fun fact I learned is that you're actually supposed to trim these pieces to size. I thought, they did seem a little long, and so I was trying to press them in despite that, and that's where I got into some trouble. So I'm gonna have a go at it and we'll see what happens. In case in point here, before I do this, you can see, okay, so this lip is kind of coming out, but this corner piece is a separate piece, and you can just see how close those edges are. And I'll go down to the bottom one too. That one's really overlapping. So what I'm going to do is pull this top piece out. I'm just going to trim it just a tiny bit on the bandsaw, and that should help a lot. So you just want to be careful removing it. As you can see above, it is easy to dent. So I have a few tools at my disposal, but the ones that have been seeming to be the most useful are these sort of all plastic trim tools, and they have a nice, they're plastic, so they're not going to scuff the metal too much, the bright work. And I'm just pushing the lip over. There it goes. See, it comes right out. And I'll be resetting this edge as well, but I'm going to trim a little bit off of this particular piece, and then we'll go back in. And then before I do that, I'm going to lubricate this whole thing with some of that silicone grease that I showed you. I mean, as a reminder, this is actually two pieces. There's a locking strip that runs in the middle, which I can kind of see is not shoving in all the way. This was a problem before, kept wanting to pop out. Anyway, I'm hoping that grease will help on this spot as well. So let's get after it. Okay, so I'm doing a little experiment here. This is the locking strip that came with this new old stock gasket from Mr. McGregor, who said it was the right size. The gasket itself it fit really great. The locking strip is wider, I think, than the kind you get from Moss, and you can probably see that. If I zoom in. So the Moss one is a little smaller. So I'm struggling with the locking strip, getting it in, getting the trim in. So I decided, let me see what happens if I run the newer Moss locking strip up in here. And it goes right in. What do you know? It's being a pain right now. So then I'm thinking, well, it goes right in, like so the knock is that if it goes right in, the trim is going to be much harder to put on, which it might be, because it doesn't press the gasket open as wide. But the other side of that is, if I can get it in, and maybe it'll hold the trim better. These are hard questions. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. What I think, though, that's okay, that I might do, is, the locking strip is just to spread the gasket out. It's not a seal in itself, so it's okay to trim it. I could even use this narrower locking strip right here. Maybe I'll cut this one, try just a stretch of it right here, and see how that goes. And if it doesn't go well, then I'll pull it back out and I can pop this one back in, and it'll be multiple pieces, but that's okay too. I think I just figured out what my next step is. Okay, so I just took a razor blade. I sliced my thicker locking strip. I sliced it up, and I'm not gonna willy-nilly slice this one, but I think what I'll do is I'll do a section. So this isn't perfectly square, so I'm just gonna cut this. Can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just squaring that off a little. Okay, so then I'm just gonna butt it up there. If this works, this may end up being a disassemble the entire old lock, or take out the entire old locking strip, replace it with this one. But I don't want to get ahead of myself yet, so I'm going to kind of proceed with a bit of caution here. So I'm just trying to seat it, because I bet it's still going to want to pop out at the same spots as the other one. It's just not as thick, so I'm hoping that I can kind of get it to stay, locking strip, stay. So this part is giving me immense hope for the future. There's a part at the bottom that I'm a little uncertain about, though. If I'm being completely honest, where it's kind of the gasket leaves a big gap, and that's where the corner piece is going to slot. So it's going to be interesting, but for right now I'm rounding the corner. I don't know if I'm going to stick with this locking strip that far though yet. That part remains to be seen. But up here, okay, this locking strip is looking dope. Everything's pretty lubricated. Honestly, I can already tell you I'm probably gonna pull this corner out. Okay, you're getting to see the process. Well, sort of the aftermath of the process, but the process is messy. The process is so far just challenging, man. It's not fun. Okay, that's really encouraging to me. So I just got our top corner fitted, This could be, there's so much, yeah, I don't know what to think right now. I'm kind of a hot mess, as they say, whoever they is. So I think I'm using this ball hook, just being slow and patient as much. Oh. Slow, let's say slow. Ah, see, impatient. Sucking under the gasket, the windshield gasket. And what I think was a problem with the other locking strip, aside from it being wide, is it wasn't sitting as deep in the windshield gasket, and so it was kind of pushing the trim up and out more so than this other one. So I think my hope is that this little guy, this littler locking strip, will let the trim sit a little deeper in the groove. In the immortal words of Flavor Flav, yeah, boy! That is one corner that is done. It tells me that likely going forward, I'm taking this whole top trim off, and I'm probably going to put that smaller locking strip in everywhere. Heck yeah, man. The video is not doing this thing justice, but I am mega happy about that. All right, on to the rest of the windshield, but I'll probably spare you the details and just show you the aftermath. But the new plan is use a smaller locking strip everywhere. That's the magic. And in comparison, actually, let's take you over to the other side. So this is actually with the original locking strip. So you can see just right there, it's like still pushing, it's kind of pushing up. I think the ticket is to rock the other locking strip. All right, that is all. And this was the final piece. I saved the bottom trim piece for last. I did not end up having to trim this one to length at all, as it looked like it was going to line up good, but it was the biggest pain to install. That final corner required a lot of patience. Probably an extra set of hands would have been immensely helpful. Using one hand to push some pressure down on the trim to keep it locked into the bottom lip of the gasket. I used my other hand with the ball hook to gently pry the top lip of the gasket over it, and lots of grease. And I had to do this over the course of about an hour just to get half of this locked in. And by the end, my forearm felt like I had been doing a day's worth of rock climbing. It was really burned out, but it all went in, and I'm super happy with the end result. And as I think I mentioned earlier in the video, I also redid the top chrome strip as well. I did trim that one, maybe a little bit too much. The gaps are a little big, but I'm going to leave it. Everything is pretty straight, and overall, it's not perfect, but I'm very happy with the end result. Oh my God, so relieved to get that trim piece in. Just use grease, lube, be very patient, and you can get the job done with the right tools as well. That ball hook and those plastic interior trim installation tools are really my go-to for this project. And I'll give you a little sneak peek of how the whole thing looks here. I'll just add, I'm going to use this windshield and body sealant around the base of the gasket all the way around to add a little bit of extra waterproofing. And there were a few areas where there were some gaps between the gasket and the frame that I'm going to use that sealant to fill. All right, here we have it in all its glory, the finished product. Again, it's not perfect, but neither is my paint job or my car, but I think it looks really great. I was able to resurrect this gasket, even though I damaged it a little. Took me a while to figure out how to get everything in place, but got the corners lining up pretty good, and all the chrome is straight. And yeah, so keep persevering if you're doing this project yourself, and you'll get there with a lot of patience. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more old British car MG content. And thanks again.